And hello again. It is Unit 3, Section 1, lane markings. Now there are two kinds of lines. There's yellow lines and there's white lines. Yellow lines, as you may know, yellow lines separate two-way traffic. So if we have a yellow line in the middle, traffic is going in two different directions. Now on those yellow lines, let's say that this white car is being followed by a red car. The question is, can that red car, when it's safe to do so, go around the white car? And the answer is yes, because if the lines are dotted or dashed or broken, whatever you want to call it, if they are such a way, then yes, the red car can cross over the yellow line into around them to go around them. There you go. Now, what if the situation's changed? What if the solid line is on your side? If the solid line is on your side, then no, you cannot legally cross because it's against the law to cross a solid line. Now, that's yellow lines. Yellow lines separate two-way traffic like this. So in this instance, the gray car, if it was safe to do so, could go around the 50s car there, or 60s, because they have a broken yellow line on their side. The red car could not pass when it's safe to do so because they have a solid yellow line. You'll normally see these in a no passing zone. Now, the next situation is, let's look and see if it's a white line. This is a broken white line, and this is separating one-way traffic. So if you have a yellow line, you're separating two-way traffic. If you have a white line, you're separating one-way traffic. So if the gray car is following the white car in this instance, and it's safe to do so, could they cross? Yes, you're right, they could, and they can cross right here just like that if it's a broken white line. Now if it's a solid white line and we have one-way traffic like that, then can the gray car, when it's safe to do so, cross? And the answer is no, they can't, because it's a solid line. So far I've told you about yellow lines, which is separating two-way traffic, and white lines, which is separating one-way traffic. And when you look at a solid line on your side in two-way traffic, it is not legal to pass. If you're looking at a dashed or broken yellow line on your side, then yes, it is legal to pass. You can do that. Now, the next thing I want to look at with you is what I call a multi-lane highway, and it looks something like this, where you have traffic on this side going in the same direction because that white line is separating one-way traffic, and on this side, that white line is separating this side going one way. So this white line is separating one-way traffic, this line is separating one-way traffic, and in the middle, this yellow line is separating two-way traffic. These are all going in opposite directions. Now, the question... And welcome back to Unit 3. This is Lesson 2, which is turning. Now in turning, you got to make sure that you signal all the time. Within about 200 feet of your turn, if you're going faster, like 50 miles an hour, you want to turn about your signal on about 300 feet ahead of time, about a football field. The most important turn we're going to be talking about today is the left turn. So as our car comes out and is going to go left, they're up to the intersection and they're going to go left here, and a car is coming. If you have a green light that looks like this, you have to yield. Anybody going first, you have to let everybody else go first. That's what yielding means. So if you're going left, you have to wait for all traffic to clear first before you make your turn. Now, there is an exception to that. If you are going left and you have a green left arrow that looks like this, here's your car, and cars coming at you here, if you have a green arrow, you can go right away because the gray car here will have a red light. So if you have a green arrow, that means you can turn right away. Now back to the only green light, I do want to mention one thing to you. This is very important. As you're turning left, the best thing to do is to pull about a third of the way through the intersection. If you pull into the intersection, even if traffic's going, all these guys are going, all these guys are going, and your light suddenly turns red, you still can go legally because you pulled into the intersection. If you stay here and wait and it turns red, you can no longer go. So to to review that, if you have a green light like this, you have to pull a third of the way through and wait for traffic to clear, then you can go. If you have a green arrow like this, then you can go right away. It's called a protected left turn. Now the left turn is the most difficult of the turns. There also are right turns, of course, but that's a little easier because if you have a green light and nobody's coming from this direction, obviously on a green light you can go right away. Now, as we also turn, I do want to make mention that you need to take the first available lane possible to you. So if this is the first lane possible right here, you want to go closest to you. So if you're going, let's do this, if you're going from here to here, you want to go to the first lane. You can't just get in any old lane you want to. You got to be in the first one. And that has to do with any turns. Making sure that you yield the right of way if you're turning in front of someone unless you have a green turn arrow. That is 3.2.